Okay.
Okay, dokie, man.
Okay, Stampy.
Let's talk about Gillick competence in data collection.
And
People are like, what?
genomes,
They probably don't understand what just came out of the mouth.
100,000 genomes project. There was 100,000 kids.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about children. People are like, what?
Kids.
What are you talking about?
So the British government and their healthcare system, being a part of their genome project, want to study essentially genomic development over time so that they can get better health outcomes for their population. But it's an interesting thing here. So the parents, in order for that study to occur, for this genome project, the parents have to consent on the child's behalf. So apparently the child can't think for itself.
Right.
Now, the question is, though, what happens when the child gets to the Gillick age or Gillick competency? So in the UK, that's at age of 16. They consent for their own treatment because the government feels they have enough intelligence and competence to understand and fully appreciate what's involved in that treatment, which frankly isn't always true. But in this project here, there's something interesting about this data collection. What if it's a mentally degenerative disease or it's autism? Does the Gillick competency still count at age 16? Even though the person may be considered in some respects an adult.
Right.
You know? So does that threshold still work? How does data collection work then at that point? Do the parents continually have to consent for this person through their entire life?
Well, I mean, I want to talk about this in a vast. I was telling you about this off air. It's kind of look at it in different industries like Twitch, Zynga, Activision, Blizzard. You know, these guys that are making Call of Duty and Candy Crush and all that. I mean, like Twitch. I mean, majority of their users are probably under 18.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, or a high percentage of them. So you're looking at, you know, you're collecting data from children
All day,
no matter what it is. So is it okay in the game world, but it's not okay in health data? It's health data because it's seemed to be more personal. It has to do with our bodies.
I think it depends. So, you know, when I've been thinking about this.
And what data are you collecting from? Like, is Twitch collecting? Is it being creepy and finding out where the kids are actually at?
Yeah.
Is it catching geo data?
So obviously it's tracking IPs and stuff. What's interesting, how is that data going to be used?
Yes.
How are you going to store it? You know, are you going to sell it to anybody? Are you going to keep the research private? Are you going to keep it anonymous?
Or is there an ethical issue selling underage data? If we want to call it underage data.
Is it because you're selling on their behalf? Like a kid can go around and like do chores or what the hell are they called?
Yeah, chores was
no. What's the word? How do you get paid like for this stuff?
Oh, for chores?
Yeah, allowance.
Allowance, yeah.
Like a kid would get an allowance for doing some work around the house, but he's choosing to put in the work.
Right.
So it's an interesting question. Like, at what age, if someone's putting in the work to generate data, even if it's not personally identifiable, should they still have the right to sell it? Does someone have to choose for them? Do they have to wait until the Gillick competency of age 16 for them to know what's going on? I don't know. I literally don't know. But
yeah, because, you know, a 13-year-old playing Call of Duty.
First of all, the 13-year-old knows he's shooting somebody in the game.
Right.
The idea, the objective is to kill.
But I'm talking about around like the voice recognition patterns, collecting the voice of them talking, you know, because they're obviously talking to each other, collecting the geodata, collecting, you know, how fast they're hitting their thumb buttons.
Oh, yeah, that's
you
true.
know, you know, to make the games better. I mean, they're collecting that data to see what users are.
But those kids are 12, 13, even 10 years old playing like Xbox Live and stuff. So
but what happens when you sell it?
But here's the thing. They're making a choice in a game to virtually kill someone.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't they make the choice in their real life to sell their data?
Yes.
Or even choose to share it through this genome project? I think that there's a little bit of a contradiction here.
Yeah, because they call it collecting longitudinal life course data.
Yeah, longitudinal, that's right.
So whenever you're looking at like, and what they were really talking about is like families that are affected by rare disease or cancer, and then being able to, like you were saying, watch the genome sequence, you know, as it matures, as the disease matures in every part. And there's, to me, I mean, if it wasn't causing stress to my child, I would volunteer for this in a heartbeat, because not only, am I helping? I have the potential to help the child, but then I can have the potential to help, multiple children around the world because this data is important data.
It's super important. That genomic research is so important. And I get, here's my point. They're saying that the age is 16 for this Gillick thing, but if a kid's on Call of Duty or spending extra money on Candy Crush for some sort of NFT, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or choosing to shoot people in a video game and having a conversation about it and socializing.
I mean, the conversations I've heard them on Call of Duty.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like an 8-year-old kid being "fuck you."
Yeah, let's not.
I mean, it's not.
Let's not be naive here.
This isn't clean shit. This is
No.
what you would see NC-17.
So yeah, this is my point. Let's not be naive here about competency.
Yes,
I think that the age is actually much lower than what this Gillick standard is actually saying. I think the parent would only have to consent in the genomic sense for,
Right.
I don't know, tell the Call of Duty age. That's probably the way I'd look at that.
I thought this was very interesting in this debate because they said there can be deep divisions of opinion between a young person with a health condition and their parents.
Sure.
Some may feel that their health condition, this is an article, adds to the richness of their character, and they would not wish for it to be analyzed scientifically any further.
Wow,
Some may wish
that kid. I would have never even put that together myself. At that
Some
age.
may wish that they had more information about the condition,
Mm-hmm.
whether a cause or potential treatments can be identified. I would say that would be 90%.
Yeah, obviously anybody.
There's
got to
be a small percentage of.
So
I know me as a child, and you know this. If I was diagnosed with something, I'd be like, I don't want any scientific. This is who I am. This is.
Yeah.
People are not comfortable with anomalies.
No, they're not.
Never have been.
No,
Very few.
and here's the interesting part. I want you to tell me how I cure it, but I don't want you to analyze me. What do you want? Do you see what I'm saying? And it's tough. And I'll tell you this. I don't have some life-debilitating disease. I've never been in that scenario. I'm not a part of any genomic research study. So I don't know. I'm just looking at this from a third party, but I find it interesting the fact that you're refusing analysis because you're identifying with the disease, but the thing is you want to find a cure for it. It little give and take here.
Yeah, and it's how you communicate it. I know
Correct.
Activision. I mean that's a big. I know Activision isn't communicating how they. I mean, they probably have it in their privacy agreement, but it's probably not. That'd be fun. We'll have to do a show on Call of Duty privacy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, the people would love that one. But I don't think they're very. I don't think they're interested, or the teenager, because of maturity level. But I mean, adults do the same thing. They just skip over it and click.
All the time.
They don't even look at it. So
The kid will do the same thing as adult. All they want to do is get into the match.
game. Yeah.
Do I really care about all this? No, I just want to get into and play. That's why I spent $80 buying your software.
So my question would be, because I could get this if the researcher and the participants and the parents were in a room together and the researcher went over the aspects of what they're going to sign, like human to human.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
And then
let's
said,
break
hey,
this down.
here's what's going to happen. Here's how your child's data, here's how the data is going to be used. We're going to get some information, you mom, dad too. We'd like to collect your genomes, so we could see maybe this was an anomaly from, generations, or I'm just making shit up. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I'm not a doctor, Jim.
Jim, I'm not a doctor.
But I could see that human to human going over the privacy agreement. I'm all in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I personally think a 16-year-old, you could go to a 16-year-old and say, hey, you have these genetic disease. We'd love to do this. We're going to go over it. As long as I wouldn't be worried about the 16-year-old having the competency. I'd be worried about the researcher not trying to take advantage of them.
I think that's half the issue.
Yes. You see what I'm saying?
They can very easily take
For
advantage.
profit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for profit.
Yeah. Saying, oh, okay, teenagers, let's use you.
It's just an interesting thing. I mean, when did you become cognizant about making your own choices?
But
You tell your mother, Mom, Dad, I want to play soccer.
yes.
How fucking old are you when you say something like that?
Yeah.
You're making your own choices
Yes.
at that point.
Right.
So it's like, I don't think this Gillick competence thing is like even legit.
Mm-mm.
Does the child appreciate the value of playing soccer? Of course. It brings them joy. They know exactly what the game is. Does the child know what they're doing when they're playing Call of Duty? Of course. Right?
Yeah, I think I mean, I don't want to get too philosophical, but I think it's this whole helicopter parenting thing, and
Yeah.
which was really cool. I mean, side note, this was awesome. I was listening to a guy, whether you agree, disagree, doesn't matter. This is neutral.
I disagree.
I disagree. Yeah. This guy was, he wrote a book about how safe the world is actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has a daughter and he's a psychiatrist. He has a daughter and he lives in New York. and she's 9, and he lets her walk around New York, go to the bakery, go get groceries if she wants, all by herself.
Yeah.
She has a phone, and he's like, people are like, where's your parent? But she'll go and buy shit in the store and do stuff and comes home, and she went for a long walk and people are just like, oh my God, I can't believe. He goes, it's actually really safe. It's a lot safer than it's ever been.
People hyperinflate data on like child abduction and all that other stuff beyond reason.
That child abduction is way down. Now, I'm not talking about child molestation. I mean,
No,
we've
no,
all
no,
had
no.
some
I'm talking
weird
about
dude in
abduction.
the bushes. Is
If
like,
some-
hey, dude.
Yeah, like the same probabilities will occur for a child walking across the street to get hit by a car and a full-grown human being.
Yeah, I would say there'd be more of a chance of the child getting hit by a car than any abduction.
Then an
Abduction would be really rare.
This is my point. You got 16.5 million people or whatever it is in New York City.
Yeah,
So then your probability of being abducted is down to here.
right. Yes.
Just depends
Percentage-wise, yeah.
statistically, depending on how many people are in that area.
And most people, I mean, when an accident happens or something goes down, you have a percentage of people that actually, run and try to help in some way or call 911. So people in general, humans in general, whether it's health data or whether it's I mean, how many children or teenagers, we'll stick with teenagers, how many teenagers have done amazing things where they've saved somebody's life, pulled somebody out of a burning fire?
You're correct. You know something? I think we have this perspective that all of society is bad.
Yes.
And that perspective, there's so much data telling you that it's not, but you tend to think that it's bad because of how people project it to you. But if it was truly bad, we would have nuked ourselves into oblivion.
A long time ago.
There would be an increase in severity of terrorist attacks. There would be more police brutality. There would be more riots and gang violence. Like, that stuff would be out of control.
I mean, we have 300 and how many million people in the United States?
Yeah, but
30?
there'd be
Why aren't we having a terrorist attack every day?
Yeah, there'd be more credit card fraud. There would be like people just be storming into your home. Like there are fundamentals. The greater majority are positively oriented. The
Yeah,
data just shows you that. The
what-
world exists because of that.
Well, we have a developer who lives in Pakistan, right?
Correct.
And let's go to some place like deep south here in the United States, like Louisiana.
Yeah.
Be like, I have a developer that's from Pakistan, and their first response would be, well, he's a terrorist.
No, he's not.
But the city, we saw it,
Lahore, Pakistan.
is like a metropolitan city here in the United States. So it's
phenomenal.
There's and those people are living their lives.
Just false perspective.
It's all false. perspective.
Skewing the data. And so when I look at this,
It's bias skewing the data.
probably a majority of the people that would use this data would do it for good and not abuse it. There will always be a small amount that do screw things up, but that stuff gets totally disproportioned.
Yeah, just don't give it to the government. Google, Facebook,
Well, let's think about just like
big tech. They're not doing it. I don't think they're using it nefarious necessarily. They're just using it for profit.
They're using it strictly in a
make more money.
self-serving benefit.
If I can
That's
get
it.
free data and make money off of it, if I can extract,
Their
you just
share-
have an avocado.
It was
If we can
great.
if we can not pay those farmers and get the avocados for free,
Of course they would do that.
they would do that. In
Their
a heartbeat.
margins increase.
Yeah,
Their shareholders are happy.
100%.
It just
I mean, we're on a tangent here, but I want people to. We always have this view, especially when we think of children, as it being the world against a child, and to be very fearful.
yeah,
And now we're taking data and we're saying this is very fair. I guarantee you, you and I could go to the UK, and we know a lot about data. We could sit
Yeah.
down with these researchers. They may have a for-profit bent,
Yep.
but I guarantee you, these researchers with these rare diseases are really concerned about solving this.
yeah, if we interviewed
They've
every
given
single
their
one,
life
yeah,
to
interview
solve
them all.
these problems.
They went to school to help solve these problems.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
There's nothing nefarious about that.
No.
They may have to use a company, a genome company or something like that, that's for profit because that gives them funding.
Yeah.
So they have to give the data for something like that. But I'm going to say this, at the end of the day, I don't see a lot of super
No.
mind meld. Who's the guy with the big mind?
Megamind?
Yeah, mega mind.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of hymns running around.
No, you don't. It's just it's just human nature. And I'll give this will be my final example. This is the last damn thing I'm saying. You can do 99% of the things right in your life. Relationship, work, whatever. But the second you do one iota of a thing wrong,
everything good you've ever done, people forget about. It's just human nature to do that. We forget so quickly our past. And this is why fundamentally data is so important for our future. That's all I got to say.